Hey, welcome to What's the FIC, where two nerdy librarians, Gina and Meg, discuss everything from literature to movies, gaming, education, anime, manga, and more. All your favorite things you get geeked about, we talk about. Plus, we give you tips on all the latest free resources from the library. So, let's get into the thick of it.
Hello, and welcome back to What's the FIC? We're your hosts, Meg
Tina?
and this month is Women's History Month. Women's history celebrates the achievements of women throughout history in various fields. Just like we mentioned in Black history, it started with 1 week, a celebration that took place in 1981. So, just to give you guys a little tidbit about the history of Women's History Month. Women's History Month had its origins as a national celebration in 1981 when Congress passed Public Law 97 28, which authorized and requested the President to proclaim the week beginning March 7, 1982, as Women's History Week. Throughout the next 5 years, Congress continued to pass joint resolutions designating a week in March as Women's History Week. But in 1987, after being petitioned by the National Women's History Project, Congress passed Public Law 100 9, which designated the month of March 1987 as Women's History Month. So between 1988 and 1994, Congress passed additional resolutions requesting and authorizing the president to proclaim March of each year as Women's History Month. And since 1995, presidents have issued a series of annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month. These proclamations celebrate the contributions women have made to the United States and recognize the specific achievements women have made over the course of American history in a variety of fields. So that is how we have come to recognize Women's History Month, which is very, very, very important.
Yes,
Gina, you want to add some in with that too?
I'm super excited about Women's History Month in this episode. So, with that being said, we just wanted to take time to talk about women in one of our favorite pastimes,
Mm-hmm.
manga and anime. So, as you guys know, manga and anime entertainment has been enjoyed by hobbyists and enthusiasts alike. But did you know that some of our beloved anime and manga has been written, drawn, and animated by women? So,
Yes.
these women we will highlight have given us amazing stories, thrilling plots, and characters that we love or despise. It is safe
Yes.
to say that these recommendations for these manga and anime are good picks. But please know that some of these anime and manga do have viewer discretions and reader discretions. Some of these anime tend to be targeted towards our older teens and adults. So we're thinking, I would say some of these might be 17 and up. And of course, we'll
Mm-hmm.
kind of give you a little flag, like, hey, this might be a bit more for older audiences.
Mm-hmm.
But let's
Exactly.
dive right in, May.
Yes. So to start out, we're going to be covering manga artists, but there's a special word for this field of work. Gina, can you give us a little tip about that?
So when we think about manga, which we discussed a long time ago, I know you guys have to think back to that very first episode.
Right.
And we talked about manga being the comics and those sequential art that started or originated in Japan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those writers do have a special word that describes them, and it's mangaka. So
Mm-hmm.
mangaka. Mangaka is a writer slash illustrator of
Mm-hmm.
manga. So that
Yeah.
means usually not only do they write, but they also draw the sequential art. That of course, Megan can tell you more about sequential art.
Yes.
That that is in some of the manga that we love and enjoy over here today.
Exactly, exactly. So thank you for that little cleanup there term, because I definitely didn't know that there was a word in Japanese for those types of artists and writers.
Hmm.
So that you learn something new every day.
Yes.
All right. So jumping in, the first artist slash illustrator and writer that we're going to talk about is Hiromu Arakawa. And she is a Japanese manga artist, best known for the manga series Full Metal Alchemist. So I know all of you, hardcore anime and manga fans out there probably should know this one. Full
Mm.
Metal Alchemist started 2001, ran to 2010. It's definitely something I loved, loved when I was growing up in middle school. I was introduced to it by a friend. But basically, this show became it's not only a show, but the manga actually became a domestic and international hit, and it was
Mhm.
adapted into two anime television series. So if you've watched Full Metal Alchemist, the first series that came out, and then there was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I believe that's what the second series was
Mhm.
called. And I think that one follows the manga a little more closely. It's more true to the original art and story, so
Mhm.
you can check both of those out. And also just a little more about this artist. She's also known for Silver Spoon. That's another work of art that she produced. And then there is the heroic legend of Arslan. So those are just some of the other works you can check out from her. But were you a fan of Full Metal Alchemist, Gina? Because I totally was.
Yeah, so I was gonna mention a little tip is that so if you like me end up growing up and watching both, or like me and Meg, then you'll know that the original Full Metal, just Full Metal Alchemist, was done before the manga was complete.
Right.
So they kind of had to come up with their own ending. And then later on, once the manga was complete and it finished the series, then
Hmm.
Hiromu Arakawa, then everybody's like, oh, okay, well now it's done. We're gonna do another one, and so that's when they did Full Metal Alchemist
Yeah.
for that. So
Yeah.
oh yes, and also some grace to us, you guys, because these a lot of the mangaka will be Japanese names. So if we take a little minute to slow down and pronunciate every syllable, we just want to make sure that they're said in respect, because the whole point is to,
Hmm.
we're appreciating and respecting these amazing women.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
So that leads me to mine, which I feel like everybody should know,
Yeah.
Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon's very famous creator is Naoko Takeuchi. So Naoko Takeuchi created Sailor Moon and codename Sailor Moon V, which codename Sailor
Mm.
Moon V came before Sailor Moon. Some things
Okay,
that
didn't know
you
that.
might not have known about Miss Takeuchi is that she also created a lot of other manga like Cherry Project, Miss
Mm.
Rain, and many more. And she holds a degree in chemistry, which is
Wow.
why the Sailor Scouts have like names of planets and gemstones and different things throughout.
Uh-huh.
And if you're like me, and I'm guilty, I watched the live action series. I actually have it on my computer
Ah.
right now.
Oh wow.
She wrote the lyrics to some of the songs for the live
Oh,
action. So Sailor Moon was
nice.
just a part of my childhood. Like it,
Yes.
Sailor
Any
Moon.
90s, yes. Any 90s kids, I feel like, you grew up watching Sailor Moon.
Yes.
You saw it on what was the Cartoon Network, but they had a
Mm-hmm.
specific time frame that they would show it. But I just remember watching that, and the theme song was just always stuck in my head. I love the theme song. Yep, exactly. But there's so many iterations of Sailor Moon. Like there's the original '90s series, but then I think they recreated some right in the 2000s and things like that.
Crystal. Yeah, I think
Right.
it's like Sailor Moon like Crystal. That
Uh
was
huh.
another one that came out, but yeah, I think I didn't know about Miss Takeuchi's like degree in chemistry
Oh
and
yeah.
and all this other stuff. Like that was really new for me to go look up, and
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to look up some of her other projects as well.
Oh, nice, nice. That's good. That's good. So that leads us to another mangaka artist. It
Mangaka.
mangaka. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're always learning. We're always learning.
Yes.
So this brings us to Akane Shimizu. And excuse me if I do not pronounce it correctly. I'm sorry. But we do want to recognize her work. And she is another artist illustrator. And many of you might know her work. She is the creator of Cells at Work and its many
Yay.
spin-offs. So if you're watching or reading Cells at Work Code Black,
Mm-hmm.
Cells at Work, all the many different spin-offs, just know that she is the creator of that work of art. And I think we did an episode actually covering
Mm-hmm.
Cells at Work. Yeah, and it was my first time watching it. I know you know more about it than I do, Gina.
Yeah.
If you want to explain a little more.
It's it's just super cute. I do defer back to that episode. Give you
Hmm.
more to listen to after this. That it's just really cute example of how the cells in your body actually work to like fight those like diseases and different things like that. And I recently have started watching Cells at Work Code Black, and it
Mm.
where Cells at Work, I would say that that is comfortable for everyone to watch. I will make this note, this viewer discretion, that
Um,
Cells at Work Code Black is a bit more mature because the first one was a healthy body.
all right.
The Code Black is an unhealthy, very much adult body.
Oh.
So definitely moms and dads, I know you might see Cells at Work and you'll think, oh yeah, the Cells at Work series, the first one was fine, it was great. No, no, no.
Hmm.
This one's very firmly for older teens. I would definitely say 18 up, maybe
Right.
17 with parental discretion.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So, do we have any honorable mentions that we want to just throw out there?
We do. So, first honorable. Well, I'll do two of them just because I kind of threw them in there.
Mm.
One honorable mention is again from our very first episode is Natsuki Takaya, who created Fruits Baskets.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, so honorable mention to her, as well as Yana Toboso, who created Black Butler, also known as Kuroshitsuji. So either one of those, and I think you
Mm.
had one more honorable mention.
Yes. Kazui Kato, creator of Blue Exorcist. So some of you guys have probably seen that around. I think I've seen that was it on Netflix? It might have
It's
been at one point.
been on Netflix for sure. Netflix for
Yeah, I feel like
sure.
I've seen it. Yeah, yeah. So those are just some other artist illustrators that you can check out and look up their work because they are women who've definitely contributed to a lot of the manga and anime work that you see all the time. So definitely check them out. But that does
Yeah.
lead us to mentioning not only the people who create the shows and illustrate the artwork, but we do want to mention those women who are actually the voice actresses. So some of your favorite characters are voiced by these iconic women who lend their voices, and they're actresses as well. So we do want to mention them. And also, we're not just covering anime and manga. We are going to be mentioning some cartoons that you may be familiar with as well. So some actresses and shows that you might have grown up watching as well, and you didn't know that some of these incredible women were behind some of your favorite roles. So,
Mm.
yeah, let's get into that.
All right. So so we're gonna dive right in. Keeping with the theme of Sailor Moon is Kotono Mitsuishi. She is known best as being Usagi Tsukino in Sailor Moon, which if you don't know who that is, that's Sailor Moon. That's the main
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
That's our favorite meatball head.
Yeah, that's
She
right.
is the voice behind that character. She's also the voice of Misato Katsuragi in Neon Genesis. Um, oh my goodness, I can't remember how to say the last part.
Evangelion.
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 We're
Yeah.
helping each other out run through these words.
Right.
I know her
Hmm.
best though, other than being Sailor Moon, I know her best as Boa Hancock in One Piece because I
Oh,
adore
nice.
One Piece and
Oh.
tons of other things that she's been in. But the most recent thing is she is the voice behind Mei Mei in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, that's right. So all you new people who might be just getting into anime and you're like, oh yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is great. You
Yeah.
know, she's the voice of Mei, so now you learn something new.
There you go. Who else we got, Meg?
Exactly. Oh, we have the iconic, the probably most known voice in American cartoons is Tara Strong. Um,
Yes.
if you guys don't know her by her real name, Tara Strong, you probably know her as the voice of characters like Bubbles in the Powerpuff Girls, Timmy Turner in Fairly
Mm.
Odd Parents, Raven in Teen Titans. So she's just really had a prolific career. She's lent her voice to so many of our favorite characters that we've grown up seeing, or maybe you got into later on in life. You never know. But yeah, Tara Strong is just really, really cool. Like I've always loved her voice, and I
Mm.
think my favorite character that she's done, I definitely love all of them, but I think Bubbles is just so iconic. Like Buttercup and Bubbles have always been my favorite Powerpuff Girls, but like there's something
Ah,
about Bubbles when she gets angry, it's just super
yes.
funny. It's super funny.
I think Tara Strong like voiced my childhood. I feel like
Right.
just
Yes.
everything. My favorite was Raven in Teen Titans.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite. But just
Yeah.
when that voice comes over the television screen, I just feel like it's just so iconic and it's just you kind of know you have an inkling when you hear it like is that Tara Strong? And then you have to go look it up and
Yeah.
make sure. And there she is right there on the list.
Hmm.
All
Right.
right. Our next voice actress will be Junko Takeuchi. She's best known for you Naruto fans as Naruto Uzumaki.
Uzumaki.
Uh,
Yep.
I did not watch much Naruto, but I definitely know the voice actress when I hear her. I remember
Hmm.
her in things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon
Mm.
because I watched
Right.
those. But she's
Right. Right.
also voiced characters for Hunter x Hunter, as well as Little Witch Academia and many, many more.
Yeah, so there's a lot of iconic voices there. I don't think people really realize that some of their favorite characters are voiced by the same people.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like an industry thing where the industry's kind of small, and once you get in as like a voice actress or something, it's kind of like,
Hmm.
hey, we're gonna use you for this role, and we're gonna use you for this role over here. So I'm sure you have to keep multiple jobs though, kind of like going at the same time in that
Yeah.
industry. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think it's the prestige. I think that once people kind of like, I think once it's just kind of like any actress or actor when they get like that iconic role, the role that like sets them up where people are like, I want that person. That's who I
Yeah.
want to. This is who I envision can bring life to this character, and I think that's kind
Hmm.
of how it is. I think that's how a lot of them get started.
Yes, definitely. I agree. All right, so that brings us to our last voice actress here that I am sure that everyone has heard at least once in their lifetime. So we have the amazing Cree Summers.
Mm.
She is a American Canadian actress and voice actress, and she is a singer as well. So some of her best known roles are Susie Carmichael on The Rugrats
Yes.
Show, number five on Kids Next Door. And for all you people who loved Atlantis, the Lost Empire, like I did,
Mm.
Disney's Forgotten Treasure, because some people act like it never existed. There is Queen Kita. She was the voice of Queen Kita in there. And
Mm.
she's voiced so many other shows as well, like Batman Beyond. She's been in a lot of DC comic book character shows and things like that. And recently, if you want to hear some of her most recent work, she voices various characters on the Proud Family reboot, which is the Proud Family Louder
Mm.
and Prouder. So that's pretty cool. She's done a lot of different things. Do you have anybody who's like a favorite of all these that we've mentioned, Gina?
Uh, do I have a favorite? I
Mm-hmm.
think, um, as someone who, when I was a kid, just like a lot of other people, I aspired to be a lot of things, and voice actressing was definitely one of them. I definitely
Yeah.
looked up to Cree Summers because I didn't know any at the time. I didn't know any by name any other women of color
Mm-hmm.
who did any voice acting.
Right.
And Susie Carmichael was like iconic for me for Rose Rats
Yeah.
because I was just like, who's this new character, who comes in and honestly shows Angelica what for and stuff like that.
That's right.
And number five was also one of my favorite Kids Next Doors, like
Mm-hmm.
if not my favorite. So I think that it was for me, it would definitely would be Cree Summers. And I would say on the other side of this is that Junko Takeuchi, not as a kid, but definitely older, being someone who's older now, like she's voiced Naruto in almost everything
Mm.
that Naruto, like just her track record, just she's voiced Naruto in every aspect, even in the video games. There's Jump
Oh,
Force.
nice.
She even voiced in the video games, and I think that's just amazing. Like I still would want to voice act a character. Hint, hint, wink, wink
Yeah.
to anybody listening.
Right, right, right.
I would definitely
Put
like to
yourself
do
out
it.
there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be so cool, and I just am amazed at how they're able to bring so many characters to life. So I think that's
Right.
that's my favorite so far. What about you, Meg?
Oh, it's so hard, but I do agree. Cree Summers is definitely the first person of color that I knew of that was in voice acting very heavily and has voiced some of my favorite characters. But yeah, I think all these women bring such a incredible talent to what they do and the characters that they represent. So I just love them all. But
Mm.
yeah, they're just all amazing, all amazing.
So, okay, Meg. We've talked about the writers, we've talked about the voice actresses, but do you have a
Uh huh.
favorite female character from either anime or manga or
Oh.
cartoons that like who is like just someone to you who you're just like iconic? You could choose more than one, but we need at
Okay.
least one, Meg. At
Okay,
least.
so there is this show called Michiko and Hachin.
Mm,
It's an anime, and it is more so on the mature side. So I would say, for any of our young viewers or listeners, should I say, or parents, definitely keep in mind this is more of a mature rated show. But it's an anime, and I really like Michiko. She's one of the main characters. She's the adult character, and Hachin is the child character that she kind of like takes care of during the show. But she's
mhm.
just such a just I do it my own way, strong female character, and it's just really cool because she goes out there and she doesn't care what people think. She's just like, this is me, and you're gonna have to accept it. So I love her from that anime. As far as like other things, oh man, it's just so hard to pick like one character. But I guess like growing up, definitely I'd agree. Susie Carmichael was definitely a huge character for picking someone that looks like me that I could go, oh, wow, I can look up to a character like this.
Mm.
This is cool. So it's definitely important to have representation in all sorts of forms of media.
Yeah.
that's out there. But yeah, oh man, it's so hard to pick one. But I'm gonna go with Michiko from Michiko and Hatchin for right now because I can't think of any other ones. What about you?
All right. When I think of that, I would say from like I wouldn't say a long, long time ago, but the one female character that like really sticks out to me, it might be a little bit lesser known, is Balsa. Balsa is
Mm,
from Moribito, which is an incredible anime. That's the first version I saw it in. Um,
mm.
it also has a woman writer.
Oh,
So if
nice.
you do want to check out Moribito in any way, shape, form, or fashion, there is the manga series, and it's
Mm-hmm.
by Naoko Uehashi, who also wrote a book that I'm currently reading, The Beast Player, that you can check out
Ah,
on
nice.
ARCPLS. I just happened to throw that one in. But
Right.
Moribito, and she created this character, Balsa, who is this wandering spear woman. And I just loved her resolve. Like,
Mm,
she is very serious. She
mm-hmm.
doesn't seem warm, but she is this very wise, really adaptable, wandering spear wielding lady. And
Mm,
she basically, her job is to take this young prince on, and she's entrusted with his life. Essentially, he's supposed to go to this place because he has this jewel inside of him. I'm not going to ruin the
mm-hmm.
series for you, but she's his
Right.
protector. And I
Okay.
just remember how multifaceted she is, because I think sometimes we think, well, oh, she's this woman, she doesn't have any kids, she doesn't have a lover, she doesn't have any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But here she is doing this job. She was a great fighter. She was a mother in the time she needed to be a mother. She was serious. She was wise. And I just
Mm-hmm.
really loved her character. And she's the first name that pops up in my head when I think of
Oh,
it.
nice.
Um,
Yeah.
and in more recent times, I don't think there's too many now that characters where I'm like, oh my gosh, just so amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'll give a honorable shout out, because we were talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, to Nobara Kujisaki, which, if you know this in the series, she's our favorite hammer and nails wielding
Yeah.
sorceress. First of all, when I first saw her come on the screen, I was wondering, like, what is she gonna do with those hammer and nails?
Right.
And what she did, she came in and got the job done. And that's
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 right.
what I love. She's beautiful and she's strong and she's a little childish and obnoxious, but we
Eh,
love that about Nobara. So those are my
exactly.
picks.
Exactly. That's great. So I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this episode. We just wanted to shine a light on those women who've made contributions to some of your favorite entertainment in anime, manga, and in cartoons worldwide. So, of course, we just wanted to take the time to acknowledge those women.
Hmm.
And we want you to stay tuned because, of course, we're going to be releasing a new episode next month because we are
Hmm.
following a monthly schedule now. So don't forget to follow the Augusta-Richmond County Public Library on our Facebook page at ARCPLS. You can catch us on Instagram and on YouTube for more content from our library. And of course, we have much more to share with you in the future. So stay tuned for next month because we will be talking about something that I know everyone has had experience with streaming. We are going to be talking about
Yeah.
streaming wars, Netflix versus Disney Plus, Disney Plus versus Hulu, Hulu versus Crunchyroll. Which of these is the best? So stay
Well, we
tuned
already
for
know
some of
that for
our.
me.
Oh well, yeah. For you, we know what that is. But yeah, so we're gonna have a discussion about some of your favorite streaming services and see who takes the cake with the best entertainment. So of
Mm,
course, stay tuned and like we always say,
we've got the fit.
so stick with us.
Thank you for listening. Tune in for new episodes every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. If you like hanging with your friendly, nerdy librarians, follow our library on Facebook at ARCPLS or on Instagram and Twitter at AugustaGALib. Like we always say, we've got the fit, so stick. with us.